In case you missed it, a stance on trans athletes made by one of the world's most important athletic federations out there has caused effects throughout the rest of the sports world, and some say it's about to bring about wider changes to come. The policy will only allow athletes who've transitioned before the age of 12. Many people have some strong opinions, so in this video, we'll look more into the policy and its effects. First up, the controversial policy. The governing body of transitional competitive swimming put out a policy that will only allow athletes who've transitioned before the age of 12 to take part in any of the elite transnational swimming competitions. The decision made by FINA refocused on what the associations say is a performance gap that emerges between natural males and ladies during puberty. Without eligibility norms grounded on natural coitus or coitus-linked traits, we're vertibly doubtful to see natural ladies in tests, on stages, or in crown positions, said the statement in part. The policy also includes an offer for a new open competition order, which athletes would be suitable to contend without regard to their coitus, their legal gender, or their gender identity. Now, some other influences. FINA came to a decision after consulting with scientists and policymakers, but the policy still managed to make an influence in the world of swimming and beyond. USA Wrestling and the International Rugby League have formally followed suit and taken similar programs, and other governing bodies are likely to follow suit. FIFA, soccer's governing body, and World Athletics, the transnational governing body that covers track and field events, also gave their trans athlete policy another review. So what do athletes have to say? Transgender athlete Schuyler Bailar said the FINA policy is extreme, and that it is the most extreme policy that they've read to date. Bailar, who is the first openly trans woman in the NCAA Division I competition and the first trans man to compete in any NCAA Division I sport, according to ABC News. And now let's talk about Lia Thomas. The decision could impact athletes like Lia Thomas, whose record-breaking season in the women's syncope order set off a disagreement of transnational contestation. Thomas, who was signed to the University of Pennsylvania men's syncope platoon and competed with them for 3 seasons, began transitioning in 2019 and joined the women's platoon for the 2021 to 2022 season. Before this time, Thomas made history as the first ambisexual athlete to win an NCAA Division I national crown. That season, she set Ivy League records and went up significantly in the women's rankings versus her performance in the men's field. In her only TV interview, Thomas spoke to ABC News in May. She said trans women contending in women's sports don't hang women's sports as a whole, and that trans women are just a small portion of all athletes. And so there really isn't any seen massive surge of trans women dominating sports. At the time, Thomas told ABC News that her thing was to swim at the Olympic trials. But now, the new policy change prohibits Thomas from achieving those dreams. In a statement to ABC News, Thomas said, "The new FINA release is deeply disturbing. It's discriminative and will only serve to harm all women." Finally, more athletes speak up. The former Southern Illinois University student Natalie Fahey was one of the first openly trans women to contend in the NCAA. Unlike Thomas, Fahey didn't break any records, and so her races were far less controversial. Fahey opened up about how she transitioned. She was solidly middle ground. She didn't come by and break any records. She would only contend at conferences, but clearly the fact that she wasn't ever as good as Lia is weighted into that. Fahey added that being suitable to swim as a woman was pivotal to her. 3-time Olympic gold medalist Nancy Hogshead-Makar is the author of Champion Women, a non-profit association that advocates for gender equivalency in sports for women and girls. She said she advocates for the open competition order. Fahey noted that trans women are in fact women, but there are many places where biology really matters, and men's sports is certainly one of them. She said, but other athletes like Bailar argue that the policy will have a continuing impact on trans youth that expands beyond sports. Time for some other related news. First up, Mikaela Shiffrin opens up about her well-being. After smashing her performance at the 2022 Winter Games, the alpine skier is using her experience to talk about how not even an Olympian is immune to mental health issues. Shiffrin said in an interview with Elle that everybody experiences the hard days when it's difficult to keep a positive attitude, and you just kind of need to sit down and cry. But for her, it becomes a public problem. At that moment, on top of an Olympic mountain, she bottomed out. In the past, she might have concealed her burnout with platitudes about being mentally tough or pushing through the pain. This time, Shiffrin knew that in order to move forward, she needed to look back. "I'm a different person than I was," she says, "and I don't want to hide what I'm feeling anymore." By sharing honestly, Shiffrin joins the ranks of major female athletes in recent history who've shined a light on once taboo subjects like mental health, trauma, and performance pressure. It's scary, she admits, because it shows vulnerability, but she admitted there's no reason to feel shame anymore. Shiffrin told the interviewer she was still surprised by her success. The athletes counted 5 jam-packed trophy cases. At 27, she is already one of the most decorated skiers of all time. And in spite of some setbacks, she shows no signs of slowing down anytime soon. Her chairlift to the top started 25 years ago when her parents put her on plastic skis from Safeway in the driveway as a toddler. Her father, Jeff, skied at Dartmouth, and her mother, Eileen, is a former high school racer. Skiing was more than a hobby. It was a part of their love story. One of their first dates was at Killington Mountain in Vermont, and they moved to Vail, a winter haven with world-class ski instructors, to raise Shiffrin and her older brother, Taylor. Shiffrin quickly advanced from black tops to black diamonds, where, before long, she was whizzing past her parents. At 13, she enrolled at legendary Vermont-based ski racing boarding school Burke Mountain Academy, which has produced 36 Olympians, even among the nation's best future ski talent. Eileen says her daughter was way ahead of the curve, running drills while her classmates skied for fun. Her daughter also wasn't one of these athletes who needed to be pushed. She just ran with it, Eileen added. How the 2012 London Olympics site was left for dead. When London won the bid in July of 2005, its backers billed it as a groundkeeping moment. Previous Olympics had done so much damage to host cities, leaving behind useless venues, unleashing property speculation and social displacement, but London's bid was different. It vowed to be a model for social inclusion. Its legacy would be the regeneration of the area for the direct benefit of everyone that lives there. According to Sebastian Coe, who was chair of London's organizing committee, he promised that the regeneration of the area in and around the Olympic Park would produce 30,000 to 40,000 new homes, much of which was affordable housing available to key workers such as nurses or teachers. But 10 years on from the patriotic pageant that brought the nation together to bask in director Danny Boyle's opening ceremony with its vision of Merry England and cavorting NHS nurses, just 13,000 homes have been built on and around the Olympic site. Of those, only 11% are genuinely affordable to people on average local incomes. Meanwhile, in the 4 boroughs, the site straddled places like Newham, Tower Hamlets, Hackney, and Waltham Forest. There had been almost 75,000 households on the waiting list for council housing, many living in desperate poverty. Thousands of former residents have also been rehoused outside the area since the Olympics took place. Russia wants to help India bid for 2036 Olympics. Although the country continues to be ostracized from world sport following the invasion of Ukraine, Russia has offered to help India in hosting the 2036 Olympics if the bid receives backing from the International Olympic Committee. Russia's sport minister Oleg Matyusin said his country specialists will be happy to help organizing the Olympic Games in India. Although no concrete official move has been made, India has repeatedly expressed interest to host the 2036 Games, with Ahmedabad as the central city. Last year, Indian Olympic Association President Narendra Batra proposed a unique multi-city bid that would be centered around Ahmedabad as the key destination. 2 months ago, Gujarat's advocate General Kamal Trivedi told the Gujarat High Court that they were preparing for the Olympics of 2036 and that the Olympic Committee would visit in 2025. On his recent visit to India, Matyusin told RIA Sports that Russia was very happy that India is hoping to host the Games in the coming years. That's a wrap for this video. What do you guys think of the FINA decision regarding trans athletes? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.